Alright, in this lesson we're going to continue working on the breasts and how they kind of flow into the armpit. So one thing we're seeing right here is this horrible, all these edges coming together right at the armpit, and we don't want that. So we're going to try to create a nicer edge flow. So if you notice, I don't know, maybe you have some reference with you, but you should. The breast kind of flows into the deltoid in a way, the deltoid, the shoulder muscle, the corner of it kind of flows down in the pectoral, and in the case of a female, it flows down into the side of the breast. So we're trying to create that kind of flow of edges there. And again, trying to keep to quads. Okay, so we have a pull right there in the armpit, 5 points coming together, 5 edges coming together, but it doesn't look super bad. Now these things are a little bit narrow. We gotta widen them out a little bit, keep straightening out those edges. Okay. So when you're working with something like this, it's kind of better to work in the unsmooth view, and then every once in a while just smooth it to see what you're getting. So they look a little bit pyramid-y right now. We're going to try and resolve that. This is me thinking. Okay, put an edge loop under there to create the crease. And we're just going to stop there. Even though it creates a 5-sided polygon and a pull, it's okay. It's going to be in the middle. Nobody's really going to see it. It's fine. We're going to take the body, kind of the skin of the body, and pull it up underneath the breast to create a crease. That's the flip spin edge command. You can use that to quickly see different edge flows. It's really useful. And sometimes the most useful thing I found is just to delete geometry when there's too much of it. It can get really confusing, especially when it's smoothed out. It can get really confusing what's going on, and better just delete it and draw something clean. That way you know that your new geometry is kind of going the right direction, not trying to wrangle with an old mess. Deselect those verts on the back. That's kind of where our sternum ends. Alright, looking better, but still a little bit cubey, so we're going to adjust those points on the corners. See that? We got to bring that in. So I'm shifting my perspective view to angles where you can see those kind of jaggy edges. And I'm creating another cut to give it a little more detail and a little bit more control. Ultimately, I like to work with the limited geometry I have until I run out of control. I don't have enough control to do what I'm trying to do, and then I'll add more geometry to create more verts to kind of shape what I'm trying to do. And pull those in when you end up sewing this thing together. That seam will not be so apparent, but you want it to be. I don't know. I do. I like it to be clean while I'm working with it. Alright, so this is, again, you switch back to the unsmooth view and try and make sure that you're not creating havoc in the smooth view. Very easy to do. Move that chest up a little bit. Okay, so as we're working on the breast, we're also working kind of on the armpit a little bit, on the shoulder. We're seeing how that whole edge flow happens. Right now I'm not happy with it. I don't like that edge is right there. It's bothering me. But it doesn't look too bad, actually. They're a little bit dented on the top right there. I'll fix that. So you can go into smooth view, you can kind of find where you're, you look at it smooth and you see where the offending geometry is, and then you can go in, see it on an angle, and then clean it up. I'm trying to make this thing a little bit more circular. Modeling is one of those things, well, I guess it's kind of just like anything where you can be as obsessive as you want, and personally I end up kind of, I think, being a little too much of a perfectionist. Sometimes it takes me longer, but I just I don't like putting a model out there that's not kind of my best, so you can, the model's done when you say it's done, just like a painting or a traditional drawing. You can just keep working on it forever if you want to, but you gotta say stop at some point. I say that's good enough for now. Let's move on. So I'm creating abdominals here, and see that crease that's created when we put those edges close together? We don't really want that. And actually the abdominals, well, on a male too, but on a female, they end up kind of creasing in the middle. That midline of the body shouldn't be totally going out. It should be kind of going in a little bit. So we're going to end up adding that a little bit later. Even if you are a guy, you can still go to the mirror and try and see how some of the, body and muscles line up. Or, what I usually do is just pull up a Google window, search, belly, female belly, or something like that, and you'll get all kinds of reference right away. Kind of show you what you're working on. That's the beauty. You don't need a library. You don't even really need anatomy books these days. You just need Google. And they're not even paying me. And tuck those legs back in a little bit. Again, we're not actually trying to create labia. We're just trying to create a basic shape right there that, if we want to put in more detail, we can later with another program that's used for sculpting. But there we go. So the edge flow here is a little bit messy, but again, smooth it out. If it works, it works. And the side of your body isn't going to be tweaking around too much. It's not like a joint. So if it looks okay, you can use it. All right, looking at different views, looking at how our hips line up with our drawing. I'm gonna add another split here or not. Okay, thanks.